All right, to the pain at the pump now. Gas prices back on the rise here in Connecticut. The average price at the pump, $4.16 per gallon now, which is up about 15 cents from just a week ago.
Diesel prices are also skyrocketing, and it feels like we just can't catch a break. So joining us right now is Patrick Dehaan with GasBuddy.com. Thanks for joining us once again on the News at 4.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so prices seem to be trending down, especially with the gas tax holiday in Connecticut. But what would you attribute the change to?
Well, we've seen a trend nationally that, especially diesel, there's a lot going on. And I'll preface it by saying oil prices again today jumped 5.5%. We're now at about $110 a barrel. That's because the EU has announced its intentions to sanction Russian oil finally. This is something they've talked about. The problem here at home with gasoline and diesel prices is that inventories have been plummeting. There's a two-faced problem here, not enough oil supply globally to meet demand. And then we have a lack of refining capacity, some of which was shut down because of COVID. Some of it was shut down because of a fire in Philadelphia back in 2019, and a refinery last year shut down because of Hurricane Ida. Point being is that we're suffering from less refining capacity and less oil. And that's what's pushing up diesel prices so significantly. Is diesel inventories now in the Northeast are at their lowest since 2008.
All right, so Patrick, let's talk about these diesel prices a little bit more, because obviously truckers are feeling the effects of this. It's going to drive up the cost of transporting goods from one place to another. So what kind of impact will that increased cost likely have on consumer prices for all the rest of us?
Well, certainly a very significant one. We're seeing the entire Northeast now with an average diesel price of over $6 a gallon. This isn't just limited to one state or one city. This is really the entire Northeast. And as you mentioned, these costs have just been hitting in the last week. So the problem is they haven't really even funneled down to the grocery store, the hardware store, the clothing store, et cetera. And this is really what's going to continue pushing inflation up, is the fact that these diesel prices, diesel basically powering the economy with semi-trucks, trains, ships, even jet fuel, which is very similar in some ways to diesel fuel. Jet fuel prices exploding as well.
All right, let's talk about oil in your homes. We know that homes will use less oil over the summer months, but can we expect the prices to continue to go up through the winter, or is it too soon to tell at this point?
I think the worry is that this could extend through the summer, especially considering, like I mentioned, diesel and basically heating oil, the same thing as diesel fuel now. It's ultra low sulfur. The concern is that inventories are not going to have enough time to build back to normal levels before the winter, as long as the Russia situation and invasion of Ukraine continues. So that's a primary threat, is that we may continue to see these elevated prices. There may be a little bit of relief, but don't expect diesel and heating oil to get any cheaper over the course of the summer, and not at least much cheaper.
All right, Patrick Dehaan with Gas Buddy. Thanks for joining us. As always, we appreciate your expertise.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.